Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. I'm David Porter. I'm here with Mike Carroll and Bill Englehardt, two of Tuscola's finest.
About
Mike
time.
is a, recent book author. You have authored other things as well, but most recently a book on. Would you say it's a book on religion, or it's a specific part of religion?
Uh, it's a specific section of philosophy and theology. Very narrow.
Well, that's the way his mind works. Very narrow.
Just say this, David. It is a lot easier to write a 750 word article for the paper than a 280 page dense philosophical book.
How long were you working on that book?
Off and on for 20 years.
Mhm.
I sprinted. Sometimes I sprinted and sometimes I got burned out. I probably wrote, three or four versions of it. Five. I mean, I actually changed the whole book probably 4 or 5 times.
And we've got we'll have a story in the newspaper, and we should talk about a book signing at some point. But we do have an interview posted on YouTube, and it's on our social media. So if you go to the County Chronicle or the Tuscola Review or the Journal, you can see a link on our Facebook pages to that interview. I'm going to pause just a second. Okay, we're back. Well,
Laughs off stage.
so anyway, there's an interview.
The best stuff is off camera.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's an interview with Mike on our online. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on our Facebook. So check that out. And Bill, you gonna write any books? I've written a book. Mike's written a book.
I could write a book.
There'd be some husbands coming at you with guns.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I could write a book.
You really could.
What would you write about? Write a book about?
Growing up in Tuscola.
You could probably write a book about Skinner. That'd probably be that would fill a book.
That would fill a book. Honestly,
being in Kahneman's army
would be a good one. That'd be a good subject.
Skinner would be a good subject to write a biography.
High school
yeah.
would be a good subject, and the characters. I've thought more about Olga Hall this week than all the years that I've been out of high school. I thought about her
Mama Hall
every day. Mama Hall.
Mama Hall.
She was a smart woman.
She was, and you did feel like she was your mother.
Mm-hmm. And she was.
She would teach history, and I don't think she was okay history teacher, but whenever she got off the subject,
that's when she's best.
And got talking about home in West Virginia and Les and Alan and growing up and what life was like. Everybody paid attention.
But she explained to us government,
but you would stop and listen to her when she got.
I had her in school as well, but she was not mean enough to be my mother.
Well, she was the mother you wanted to have.
Mm-hmm.
No, she was.
And my mom doesn't like it when I say that.
Well, my mom's dead, but I love my mother, but boy, she had no trouble putting a switch to me, I'll tell you.
Well, my mom was, well, I shouldn't say was, except in the tense that she's no longer, she's out at Carriage Crossing in Arcola, but she was tough taskmaster.
You had to be tough to have that many kids.
I also think at times, my mom and dad went through the Depression. Dad was in the war, gone 2 or 3 years. Mom had a baby. That was no nonsense.
Yeah.
That's right.
They weren't touchy-feely, tell me how you feel today.
If I have to go to school today, I don't feel good. Yeah, you're going.
Yeah. I remember that. I put a hot, I think, I don't know what it is. Put a hot washcloth on my forehead or something, try and make myself feel hot so I get out of school.
Put your head in the microwave for about a minute.
I don't remember what I did, but she saw right through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the pictures, David.
All right, we ready for pictures?
If you can stump us.
We're going to stump you today.
Oh, I bet you will.
I bet you will.
If you get out of 64, 65, we're dead.
Whoa.
That's Dennis Oaks on the right.
Dennis Oaks. That's
Hey,
Meinhold on the left.
Where?
That's Tim Meinhold, the coach.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Dennis Oaks on the right. Who's the tall guy?
Fred Wakefield.
Is that Freddie?
I think that's Fred. Boy.
Well, these negatives aren't great, but they're.
Well, Meinhold's boy should be in here.
Yeah, he would be, but I watch these guys play some ball, and I say that's Fred.
Phil
I think
Meyer.
it is.
Phil Meyer probably in there. TJ. If Onstott was here, he'd probably be in here.
That's Fred's brother, I think.
It does look like his young brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Donna Walker says Justin Quick, bottom row, second from left, question mark.
Justin Quick.
Oh, David Quick says nope.
Nope.
So let's see. Is that Brad Hornaday or Ryan Hornaday in the picture?
Where at? Second.
Just someone asking. They didn't say which one.
It's like Henderson.
It looks like the Reeves boy, Rick Reeves's boy to me.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and then this kid.
Hornaday?
I can't tell. The kid on the right looks very familiar. On the bottom right,
we're going to identify most of them as very familiar.
Very familiar. We got
any?
the coaches. Well, we didn't get the one. Who is that big fella?
Well, you said it was Fred Wakefield.
No, I'm talking about the kid.
Could that be his brother, younger brother?
This is his younger brother right there, I think. Bottom left.
Is it?
But I doubt it. No, I don't have a good handle on this picture. Sorry. No, that's Scribner on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Darrell Sy on the left. Darrell Sy was principal at Northward Elementary.
One of the worst decisions ever. Hiring him over you.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody agrees with it now, right?
It was not.
Not to be then.
He worked about 5 years. Darrell and I got along fine. He was in my grad classes and probably the smartest book guy in the class.
No common sense. He had a class one time. As a lawyer, I got involved with a class where class of 20-some kids, one kid acted up, so they made them all sit in the gym over lunch hour and not eat.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the parents were fairly toasted.
Mm-hmm.
Why did my daughter sit in the gym all day?
Absolutely.
Looks like
that's you going for a rebound, I think.
Oh, let's see.
That is really hard to see who that is.
Well, when did it's either Zach Davidson?
That's Steve Weimer refereeing Biddy basketball.
Could that be Zach? When did Zach Davidson play?
I don't know if that was. I think it may be practice because they're shirts and skins, so it's not a game.
Oh, who else could that be?
If it was a game, they'd have jerseys on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Zach, but yeah.
It's at the high school, and
that's East Prairie.
Oh, it's at East Prairie. It's at East Prairie, but that looks like Weimer back there, probably acting as a referee. So he graduated,
what, 88?
Somewhere around in there, yeah.
When did
maybe coaching? Is he like an assistant coach or?
He went to Eastern, so he would have just been.
Maybe he's having his practice team. The high schoolers used to help with the program.
Well, but he also could have been practicum, if he's going to be a education major. And there's Kincaid. Is that Kincaid on the left? I think it is. Carrie?
I don't know. It doesn't look like it to me,
How
but
about-
Looks to be almost too big to be Jeff Butler.
Yeah, it looks more like Kincaid.
it could be, I suppose. But
And this guy, his jump shot, he's shooting at a 90-degree angle to the basket. This guy will never make it.
No, he'll never make
There's
it.
the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, this is East Prairie, and Kincaid taught high school girls. Coached.
Well, he coached boys, but he at the high school, but he coached girls volleyball.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure he helped grade school basketball coach.
This is some sort of an evaluation for tryouts.
You got somebody with a camera back here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on,
I still think it's Kincaid.
and it could be.
That could be. It's just
I mean, we're looking at a picture, probably 35 years old or something.
yeah, it's hard to tell.
Well, I
Was-
know it's
was-
old. You know why I
was-
know it's old? It's got a fan board instead of a
Was Bobby
rectangle
was,
board.
was Bobby Taylor the grade school coach then?
No, this picture here is really out of, that's a long time ago
That's
because
Arthur.
that board.
This is downtown Arthur. That's the Villa. Used to be the women's
Mhm.
clothing store.
Yeah, we've got some Arthur pictures this week.
And I think Becky is the Villa where Jerry Winters has his art gallery. That's now the Jerry Winters Art Gallery. And this is probably, I don't think it's a cheese festival because I don't see any cheese.
Me neither.
Well, this would have been in June of '91.
Yeah, and they're right across the street. You see these men's clothes on the guy looking at? That would have been Delbert's, probably one of the best men's clothing stores in East Central Illinois. Lou Henson bought all of his clothes down there. A lot of U of I guys
Mhm.
bought their
They did.
clothes there. Delbert, what's his last name?
Can't remember.
Arthur had about 3 or 4 guys that really ran the town. Doc Jones, Delbert, Mr. Juergens. Well, there's
Arthur.
what's in the box of Tide. I can't quite
I
figure out
don't-
what she's selling.
Umbrellas? I don't know.
That doesn't look like big sellers. I don't know what they are.
No, it was a rough day.
It was a rough day. That's down the side. That's looking east at Arthur. This is looking south at Arthur.
South down Main Street in Arthur.
There's on the right's the IGA. Then there was Doc Graham's
Veterinarian.
veterinary clinic. Now,
Mhm.
I think it's Crossman's law office, Kenny Crossman's law office. The church down there. On the left is Eli Yoder's antique store, right about where that sign is.
Must have been a festival of some sort going on in
That's
Arthur.
looking back north the same
Yeah.
way. And that's somebody selling mailboxes. Mailboxes, once you sell a mailbox, you normally don't have to resell for a long time.
These are fancy mailboxes. This looks
Well, that's right.
like a dog or
Yeah,
cow, horse.
that costs extra. You don't see many cow mailboxes anymore, you know?
Not now.
Horse ones, who's that? I think that's looking over at Dr. Graham's vet clinic, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. There we
Oh,
go.
wait a minute. Okay, in the
there's-
back row, we've got,
There's Hastings and there's Sluter.
no, that's Michael Wax.
Oh, Mike Wax.
Ben Voiles.
Well, this right here is Greg Hastings' son.
Yeah.
What was his first name?
Aaron.
Aaron. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be this one right here.
In the
Right
back
there.
row, on the far left, back row is Willie Shue, William Shue, Zach Davidson, Nathan Engelhardt, and Ryan Hornaday. And they're standing next to the high school players who helped them at the basketball camp. That's Michael Wax, Aaron Hastings, Ben Voiles. That I don't know. Ryan Spencer is the second one, and then that's Chad Hausman, far right. If you drop down, go back to the left,
Blow it up a little bit.
First row, third one in is Patrick Quinn. The fifth one in is Justin Snyder. I'm looking. I know him and I can't say his name. Let me look at the second row a second. Let's see. Far right. Second one in is, I think that's Shane. Or third one, that's Chris Kincaid there.
Kincaid on the far right.
Then I don't know. Then it looks like Shane a little bit.
Shane Ring.
Yeah, but there's Ben Brace. And there's Jason Hausman in the white T-shirt. Oh, boy. Kid with the other white T-shirt in the middle, ball diamond on the shirt, that's Josh Lehman. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Martin. This is a Holmes. Right there, that's Chuck's boy. I don't know if that's Derek. That's about as good as I can do.
Well, you and I about got them all.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Bill.
But I think we gotta stop for a second. This is a great moment in our history. Bill actually identified his son, a family member.
Well, and he got this guy who's completely blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know William would be standing there.
William was always the back right. All his life.
Looks like another
Arthur
picture.
Well, we're looking over. The great thing about Arthur is we're looking over at Moultrie County. When across the street is Douglas County, and I had as a state's attorney a couple famous DUIs for the guys weaving around that road. And if they tried him in Douglas County, the lawyer argued, well, he was drunk in Moultrie, not Douglas. Douglas, he was okay. He was in the right lane in Douglas, but when he weaved over into Moultrie, that's where the charges should be brought. So we had a lot of Douglas Moultrie arguments about that street right there.
Well, Nicole Shackles says Lauren Douglas and Gene Meyer Kahn. And Gene says, OMG, yes.
OMG.
OMG.
Yes.
So had a couple names there.
Well,
looks like they're making some cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Spun sugar. Okay, I'll let you get this one.
Okay. Back row. Coaches.
Is this the torpedoes?
I think.
Is this the torpedoes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is, oh God, what was his name? He worked at Illinois. Mosley.
Mosley
is his last name. Then Tom Stevenson in the sunglasses. I see him.
That Ray.
It looks like Tom Ray, but the girl in the back row, that's the O'Brien girl that just was Regina that went into the Hall of Fame.
That's not her mom?
No, that's not her mother.
Tom Ray.
That almost looks like Dave Leitz in the back with sunglasses too. Kids.
They had torpedoes from other towns, if I remember right. It wasn't just Tuscola torpedoes, I think.
This little boy down here on the right looks awfully familiar. It looks like Tommy Pierce, almost.
Carolyn Meadows Eaton has
that's Doug.
She's
one second row.
Yeah, she's written Doug Eaton, Lindsay Snyder, Justin Snyder, Tommy P. Brad Wetzel.
Okay.
So
is that Brad? Brad, the second one?
Yeah, I think so. That looks like Matt McCumber right there.
First row, fourth
one in.
Fifth one in looks like Matt McCumber. Is that about his year?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's a Davison girl right there. I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember all the swimmers. So I'm looking for, if Tom Stevenson's back there, somewhere in there, I've got Becca.
Are you sure that's not Ruth Ann O'Brien, right there.
Yeah, I know the one you're pointing to. Oh, this is back up a minute. Back right there. That's Chris Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I see Chris Bryan, longtime Caterpillar employee. Okay, now that's Dave Quick coaching. Lordy mercy.
Oh, I got some names on this one.
Well, go ahead and give them.
According to Megan Pierce, front row, Jamie Patton, Nikki Bear, Marissa McCumber, Crystal Shirazi, Brittany Miller, Betsy Maxheimer. Back row, Katie Waters, Ashley Bradbury, Blair Wilson, Casey Ray, Angie Otto, Megan Quick, Erica Wakefield, coaches David Quick and Mark Miller.
Amazing. That's what we had, David.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't. I mean, I certainly knew many of them, but not at that age. I wasn't in attendance when they're. Those look like two dogs with Butch Wyrick to me.
He was chief of police he's a patrolman for Tuscola for many years, but he was chief briefly, I think.
He was, yeah.
Butch was a nice guy. And he ran the pound, I think.
Yeah, first. I think he took care of the pound.
Yeah.
I don't remember him being chief. That must have been between Ronnie.
Yeah, he was chief.
Short time. He didn't. I don't think he liked being chief. Too much political pressure. Back during either before or right after Ronnie Earl, I think he was chief for a while.
I was before Ronnie.
I was state attorney about then, and Butch was always a pleasure to work with. Very professional.
Yeah, Butch is
very upbeat, very fair. He was very fair to people.
Come to school, he was good. Okay, in the back is Chris Eaton, coach. Boy, oh boy. I should know these kids now. The one kid in the back, that is Tommy Pierce, I believe. For sure. Now where's Doug Eaton? Oh, Doug's on the far right. There he is.
All right.
Duggar. These guys here are all my youngest son's age, pretty much.
Kelly Schultz says, Mitch Schultz, I see you, and Jeff Anderson.
Is that a Martin?
Oh, you're thinking of Mark. I don't think it is.
And Carolyn Meadows Eaton says Doug Eaton, Ben Snyder, Corey Kleiss, Tommy Pierce, Chris Eaton.
Is Corey the bottom right?
Doesn't say which is which.
It could be that one.
Yeah, it could be this one here.
Could be third from the left on second row or bottom right.
I'm looking specifically.
So they look like his son, who wears glasses.
Corey might be between Doug and Pat, or not Pat.
Right here.
Tommy, yeah. I think that's Corey.
Could be.
Standing there second.
Really good athlete.
Right.
Good at football, basketball, baseball. Very good, well-rounded athlete. Who are the coaches?
No, Chris Eaton's in the middle, but I don't know who the other two are. I can't tell.
Well, I said Kelly Schultz. Whittington says Mitch Schultz, I see you, and Jeff Anderson. So are those coaches? Because there's a Mitch Schultz.
Mitch Schultz would have been with the beard, wouldn't he?
Yeah, because that's the only one I can think of that might be Mitch Schultz. He's maybe a year older than me.
Yeah.
And I would have, 91, I would have been in my early 20s.
Okay.
Could be.
Man.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, these negatives are not great, but
Now that looks like Wetzel coaching.
Steve
yeah, it
Wetzel.
looks like Steve Wetzel. They're in the far.
And that's Berlin Lewis.
That's Burley.
They're the coaches. Old Buzz.
Oh, Buzz,
I
I
don't have
coach.
I don't have any names on this one.
Well, Buzz's boy should
Well,
be there.
hang on. We should have Darren in there.
Darren should be a good athlete.
Heck of a good baseball player. That might be him right in the middle.
I think he might be in the middle. First row is Darren. Buzz was a good athlete. I coached him in baseball. He was really talented. Nice guy. Looks like Tom Cappy on the left.
I don't have any names on this one either.
Let's see if his granddaughter's there. Or daughter.
Somebody will know him.
Dave Quick.
Again, how many teams he coached?
Well, he had a daughter playing and he had a boy, Justin, playing. Man, it's kind of smeared, hard to see. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at the names, see if I got any. Yeah, just a little too blurry to tell.
I was going to say Donnie Payton, but
No.
No, that's Kelly Schultz says Miss Schultz again. So, and then she says, and Stacy Anderson.
Stacy Anderson, but she would have graduated in about 01 or 2000. I remember her. Pretty girl. Oh, here we go.
Swihart.
Kenny Swihart coaching. Looks like John Reardon.
Yeah.
The other coach. Far left, standing up is Eric Swihart. I believe that's Eric.
Bob Taylor says second row left is Matt Swihart.
Well, it's either the city attorney or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Matt.
New city attorney.
Yeah.
New city attorney.
Yeah, could be.
Those are all the names I got on that.
Kobe
Williams.
No, he's older.
Yeah, Kobe would be older.
Oh, I got this.
There's Dennis Chaplin.
Chap and
Brian Brace.
Yeah, it's Brian Brace. Back row left, Joe Randall. That's Wyatt Martin. On another picture, I said Zach Martin. It wasn't Zach. This is Wyatt, Nathan Engelhardt, and Ben Brace. Zach Davidson. Not for sure.
Where's our sheriff at?
The sheriff is bottom row left.
Okay.
That's Nathan Chaplin. William Shue. One of the Moody's, it looks like.
Looks like Zach.
And then Wade Shuey is in that group. And I can't pick out those other two boys.
Dennis was a really good multi-sport athlete.
Yeah, and just a great guy.
Great guy. I got to coach him also in baseball back in '67.
Nathan and Ben Brace played ball from the time they were little. They played high school ball together, summer ball together, and then they played in college together at Lincoln College. Ben
wound up being
he was a home run hitter.
That's Holly Smith. This is 60. There's the Ann and Nell Nunn.
Is that Kevin Ryan?
Kevin Ryan and Holly Smith. This is 60.
68,
67.
67.
Well, Marcy says Paula Smith.
Oh, Paul is right.
Paul was right.
Yeah, they have, Doc had those girls.
Diane was my class.
Yeah. This is probably 60. I think you're right. This is probably, Ann and Nell were freshmen when I was a senior, probably 68 or 9.
There was a float in the back.
Yeah.
That's 1945.
Give us the initials
Well, let me
if you have them.
take a look here.
Don't mean to be demanding. If you have them, we would appreciate initials.
Well, let me see if this is the right envelope. Nope, that's not the right envelope.
That jacket is what they called an Eisenhower jacket.
But we don't think it's Eisenhower.
No, it's not Ike.
It looks a little bit like him.
But
Name on the envelope is, you want the initials? It's
Initials.
Camargo. FR.
And Camargo?
Yeah. 1951.
oh. Nope.
The name on the envelope is Forrest Reed.
I thought it was Ike. This was going to be a toughie.
That's going to challenge us.
What year is it?
Well, that would be 1955. And I can tell you Luann Hoey got it right.
So that'd be 18 plus 55.
Okay.
83. That's probably your class, David.
It's not 1955. That's
That's her. If that's her in 55,
that's 10 years before I was born.
you're 83, aren't you? 55, 6, 73. Excuse me. I was a decade off, David.
Yeah, just a decade. It doesn't matter.
So 73 would have been
Close to Rudy. And
well, if we had initials,
Dietrich.
We'd get this one.
CF.
CS?
F as in Frank.
Oh, F as in Frank. CF.
Connie
French is 66.
Yeah, could be Connie French.
No, I don't think so. She's born in 48.
Well, we can
or
move it around,
47.
a little bit.
Oh yeah. Let me see.
Ford. Oh, that's a Ford.
Who was
That's Daryl Ford's.
oh, that's the oldest girl.
Yeah, Carla
Ford.
Carla
Yeah.
Ford Bloom.
Who was Miss Tuscola.
Yeah, and who loved bocce balls. She was a bocce ball
Yeah,
champion.
she did that a lot.
Okay. You figured it out.
Hey, we did, just pure logic, deductive logic. Oh boy, beautiful photo.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
That's 40s, 45.
No,
Pretty good.
1945.
1945.
And about my mom's age.
You went with her later on, this girl? Woman?
Very mature. Very mature. Initials?
KB.
Bassett Breen.
They're too young for any of the Brain girls. Bartley?
I can't read, it's not Bartley. I can't read K, I don't know if it's Boobart.
Oh, Karen Boobart.
Anyway, Gary Lake says it's his mother.
I'll be darned.
Barb Lake?
He said K.
The name on the envelope is K.
K
Lake?
Yeah, K Boobar was her maiden name.
Yeah, okay. I'll be darned.
Pretty woman. She was a part-time court reporter on a state's attorney. She's always a very nice woman.
Hey, there's an oldie.
There you go.
Look at the cars.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now this has got
Blow
one
that
of,
up a bit.
one of the depots back there.
Mhm.
And is that the Fullerton elevator in the background?
No.
Yeah, no, this,
What is that?
let's think about that for a second.
Well, see, it's on the west side of town.
So it's the IC.
Yeah. There's the batch plant, cement.
Look at the cars. Look at that Buick right there.
Mhm.
Buick about a 53 Roadmaster,
That almost looks like Mayor Jones decided to go
Little
down
Metro.
and visit.
little Metropolitan.
Old car with a
What is it, about 53, 52?
This would be 1954.
Yeah, that's a Buick Roadmaster. Those are really valuable now. I think that is the concrete batching plant. It's got loaders. It's got the what they call the mixer, what they call the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being right next to where Red Profits was, but this is probably just the angle of it looking north.
Yeah, I think it's looking north.
That's a quality picture. They got good detail in the foreground, the background.
What's this road over here on the left then?
That's 45.
45.
Okay, so this is so where was that depot exactly?
Well, it looks farther north than I remember
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around a little bit.
because we used to, it was, where Metco is, where Red Profit is, Penzance Street, Pembroke almost emptied into it.
Mm-hmm.
Pembroke went right between the Mexican restaurant and Metco
Right.
or Red's, and it was just a little bit to the north of that. I just wonder if the angle is throwing us off.
Well,
Because
look how many rails there are.
Well, yeah, they used to have extra rails. Now what they do
This is this rail over here
Mhm.
is a work rail
Siding.
thing. Yeah, siding.
Well, the IC used to have two rails, and what they did to save money is every so many miles they just have an off rail where the trains are meeting. One of them pulls off and waits, and then comes on by. So they've reduced their rails. In fact, all the railroads have reduced their rails to save money. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There's the two regular,
Three rails.
well, but they had two.
No, four, because there's a train over here.
Well, this train over here. Yeah, that's a siding.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just all
So
that is.
they used to have two rails that ran all the time,
Yeah.
and they had a siding over here on the right.
Two
where they
sidings.
pulled away, and they also loaded grain, I think. or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think this one on the left, like Bill says, is a work rail. But this just shows you how much they've moved to save money because it's very expensive to maintain the
There's
rails.
just one rail through there now, right?
One rail, but if you would go down this one rail, there's a siding that goes off for about a mile down to almost Pheasant Run Road. And there's also a siding south of town. So they just put sidings off. It's all computer run, and they the one that's getting there too early, they just pull off a siding and wait.
Wonder if have we ever had this depot before?
Looks like a Hudson right here on the right.
Yeah, we've had that depot but when the men left to go to Korea. Also, we've had I don't know if the depot was there. This is where Nixon would have been.
1968.
Yeah, well, not
64.
before 68.
60.
No, we were in
Oh,
sixth
60.
grade.
It was 60 with,
And-
with
yeah.
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Bill, with this angle, there's a chance that Medco's right here, Century Motors is
Right.
right here, and Pembroke empties.
well,
right-
it's been blocked by the train.
yeah,
You
Pembroke.
can't see it because of those boxcars.
We actually got in grade school, third or fourth grade, we actually got a class would actually load on to, was it the Metal Arc Lemon or one of the, no, I just named a Globetrotter.
Globetrotters.
What was it called?
I met Meadow Lark Lemon.
I think it was the Metal Arc, but it wasn't the
Mount
lemon.
Vernon.
And we would,
City of New Orleans.
well, I think it was one of their lesser ones. They had a lot of, Chicago to New Orleans was heavy. There was no interstate.
Yeah.
And we got to ride the train to Champaign, switch, and come back home. Quite an adventure. I don't know if do kids still do adventures like that?
I don't know.
Miss Deer took us to Indiana to watch maple syrup. I think all these field trips were a big deal.
This area out here, hold it right there. Just hold it. Oh, okay. Now I got it. You know what? Is this up here? If we go across the tracks, Tunkin's up there.
Gus Tunkin's? No, Gus is back.
Okay.
This is a.
Are we sure it's back? Think about it.
Yeah, Gus Tunkin was
the
Northline.
Swimming pools up.
Now wait a minute.
Across. See.
Gus Tunkin's. You're right. Northline Road is up north. Zero in on that left side over there. You're right. Northline Road was on up, but that doesn't look like Gus Tunkin.
No, it doesn't look like Duncan's. Oh, but you got all that mess in there. You had Lester Fries and all that.
I think this is
it is.
I think this is a pretty cool photo.
Well, it does show how many rail lines they used to have, and how big rail traffic was. It's all computerized now. I don't even think
that's a picture I've never seen, though, David. I hadn't really contemplated that.
And that's a concrete batching plant. I think trains can be run by GPS computers now. They don't even need human beings. I think they keep them on for union rules.
The envelope says IC Railroad, and the picture was taken for Raymond Lee.
Yeah. Well, the cars look like, once again, early 50s. Looks like a Hudson.
Oh, a Hudson.
Zero in on the cars there. I mean, look at the bottom body. Isn't that like a Hudson Hornet? Right there.
Can't tell.
There's some neat old cars there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Ford right there.
Yeah. Marge Thompson and Tommy Thompson.
You got a penny.
Got a penny. They ran Tasty Freeze. And
Glenn Thompson.
I worked with him for one summer in grade school. I worked out there at Tasty Freeze.
He developed your appetite for chili and hot dogs.
Well, he had me go out in this little wooden shack, about 4 foot square, and they had tools and stuff out there. And he said, "We're running out of Coney dog sauce for the hot dogs." I love their Coney dogs. I run out there as a hot plate with a little bitty pan. Coney dog sauce been cooking all day there. I open it up and I'm looking around at spider webs, cockroaches, tools, oil. I go, oh man, I think I'm done with Coney dogs. He was famous for no matter what you bought.
Oh God, it's terrible.
Sales tax was 1 penny per dollar. And you'd buy something, he goes, "You got a penny?" And so they wanted the pennies back then. He died. Marge married Milas Thomas.
That's right. After Mary Thomas died.
I've got a yearbook with Tommy in the yearbook. Tommy's a Tuscola grad, yeah.
Glenn Thompson went to school in Tuscola.
Glenn, I call him Tommy Thompson. It's Glenn Thompson.
Yeah, it's Glenn. But I have honestly seen when he had the little wagon that would go through the town.
Right.
Some little kid get his treat, give him $1 and everything. Got a penny?
Got a penny.
No. Take it back.
It's almost like you want to carry pennies all your life. Tasty Freeze was
it was brutal.
It was a great place to get a little treat.
I don't see a date on the envelope.
That's probably 50s.
Yeah,
that's
probably
54.
That's the way he looked. Well, and she aged them, but that's him.
She got white hair a little later. Bill and I have avoided that.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, now we're looking at
the other depot.
Another depot. Well, we had 3 depots.
Yes, we did.
That's either I get a mix. I think that's the B&O. The CXI was on the other side, I think.
There's the vault.
This is the only one that was brick, I think.
Yes, it was the best. I lobbied when I was city attorney in the 70s. They were going to tear it down. I lobbied hard. I think it was gone by then. But they were talking about putting in with the mall coming and everything, we were getting a lot of tourism. They wanted to build some kind of out the mall. They wanted to do some modular home that cost $500,000. I said, no. If you're going to spend $500,000, rebuild this depot down here as a citizen center, public restrooms, and then put in at one end history of the railroad, the other end the history of Tuscola. I still think it would have been a great little railroad public
This is the
restrooms.
bank building back here. That's now the vault. This building's gone. That building's gone. This building on the right is the Star Store we've talked about. The second story is gone, but the building itself is still there.
These two cars are early Model A's.
Yeah. Couple of Amish buggies.
Think how long it took them to get to Tuscola.
Think how those horses would get shook up if the train came by, I would think.
Well, the train didn't used to lay on its
We
horn.
didn't really provide.
Well, the train didn't lay on its horn back then.
Hey, you know what? The other night, the train woke me up. It blew its horn all the way through Tuscola.
Probably Dave Brown.
No,
Oh, I got these.
I don't think it was Dave.
I got these. That's Steve Hediger. This is going to be tough, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can tell. I just included this because
Halloween.
it was in with the group and see what
Droopy.
the costumes look like.
That's an old cartoon. Droopy.
Yeah.
Had a wonderful voice.
Mayor Jones.
Hello there.
There, it looked like W.C. Fields.
Oh, God, he acted like W.C.
Yeah.
Fields.
Mayor Jones.
Fred Jones.
Fred Jones was a good mayor. He was
They lived in a hotel.
I think for a while they did.
But the house was across the street there.
The best thing he did, well, I don't know what the best thing he did for town was, but one of the great things he did for Tuscola was put a water fountain outside the hotel.
Yeah, he did.
Public water fountain. People said it flowed champagne.
He was a gentle person. He really was.
He drove a little bitty clown car, the Metropolitan, about the size of your hip pocket. Sharon Copeland drove a blue and white one, and he had one. I think his was brown and white.
And between Pettit Place and what is now a Kelsey building, there was a little opening. And periodically you would see the mayor duck into that.
Periodically you'd see his Metropolitan up somebody's yard.
He'd go between the buildings.
But he was a good guy, and
Yeah,
everybody liked Fred.
Everyone liked him.
Look, just look at him. You can tell he's easy going.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Times were different.
Fred Jones, Mayor Jones.
Times were different.
Back in the late 50s, I would say, 54 to 60, maybe he's mayor. Then Roy Toomey came in, and Garland Stroll, and a new batch of serious mayors. Tuscola didn't need much running back then.
Oh, there's
There
a
was a
picture
big-
of those horses again.
Yeah, and there's that Citizen Gas Company that
Yeah.
sold out and made a lot of guys a lot of money.
And there's a McCumber building next to it.
And there's about 55 cars, 1954, 5. Looks like a 57 over there.
Station wagon. Yeah. What models those horses?
Well, that horse is a 67 gelding, brownback. There's Burl Mills
And Bob Weaver.
and Bob Weaver. That's where the township building is, the Tuscola Township building, right next to the old bank.
Mills Pharmacy.
Mills Pharmacy. Like all pharmacies, it had a counter and sold Cokes and phosphates and little ice cream. I don't know if they had food. Did they have any food?
Not that I remember.
They did have ice cream and drinks, I thought, didn't they?
Roll Mills lived in, he lived in that home out in Parkview, one of the first homes built across from Garland Stroll.
That's right. Burl, I remember Burl was a nice guy.
Bob lived on
Lived in a
Daggy.
two-story house on Daggy down
Daggy,
by the
yeah.
Baptist Church. Nice house.
Bob
I think Tom Harris lived in that.
Bob
for a while.
liked sports.
Bob loves sports. Well, that's the Rotman Hoke complex out
New
west
building.
of town, 3 miles. We forget that Rotman Hoke were partners. I
Mhm.
almost forget that.
Mhm.
Was it Hank? What was his name?
I
Hank
think
Rotman?
Hank Rodman.
Yeah. This was when USI was being built in 52, 51, 23. J.L. Allen and Hoke and Rotman made a lot of money. They did most of the building. Looks like Mabel Hole.
Didn't we see that picture before?
We've
That's
seen one that's similar to this. This was a different negative.
that's her.
Looks like Mabel.
But that's Mabel Hole, yeah. My second grade teacher.
Never changed. Born about what, 21? Did we look at her gravestone?
We looked at her gravestone. I thought she was born in 15.
She was older than Gail, I think. wasn't
Yes, she was. He was born in the late teens.
19, 18.
Yeah.
She looked the same all of her life.
Yep.
Okay,
Whoa,
we'll
that's
get
an
them.
old picture.
We're going to get them all. We're not leaving until we get them all.
Hang on.
1957.
1957. That's Flume.
Flume. Back over to the left. These farmers. Flume's a farmer.
Well, the envelope says Illinois Ag Association, and looks like it's taken for Road Commissioner Bill Allen.
Hmm. 1957. That's about the best we can do.
Yeah.
By smoking a cigarette in the community building.
Oh, different view. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Who's the guy in that flat top?
Well, these people from around the county, I think.
Yeah.
Farmers were very political. We were just talking about the school election, David, where it didn't quite pass. That we're going to elect people at large. You know, it used to be when Bill and I were in school, the farmers were, as you can tell here, they're very political.
But there's a lot of them.
There was a lot of them. There's tons of farmers. It's really nowadays it's hard to find somebody in a section, but farmers are very sensitive to the real estate tax, and so they felt like they paid a disproportionate fare of the school. If you own 400 acres, you paid more for school taxes than somebody with a house in Tuscola. But years ago, they changed the real estate tax on farmland to productivity, and it's not tied to school expenses. So there's less motivation, I think, to keep taxes down among farmers.
Not necessarily a happy group.
Well, they've just been told their taxes are going up.
Look at this one smoking a cigar.
Yeah, a couple of them smoking cigars.
Yeah. Corn just fell to 10 cents, they were told. Right here, this guy in the front. Corn is down to 10 cents. Okay.
Nope.
Holy cow, we ought to know. If this is Tuscola, we ought to know somebody. Is this Tuscola?
Well, they could be from anywhere.
I think they are.
It's community building, but
could be area farmers, could be USI.
Yeah. Don't have a
this
clue.
was still in that same envelope that said Illinois Ag Association. So they could have been from all over the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that community building was quite a deal back when it was first built.
And that's it for this week.
Oh.
Well, I think we got what, 97?
I don't know about that.
Bill, you did a good job. I think Bill, seriously, this was a mountaintop. Bill identified he identified his boys in 2 photos. Or twice. I think that's good, Bill.
I've got to send a message to my landscaper.
Oh, Bill is doing business. I'll talk to you, Dave.
All right. Talk to me, Mike.
David, did you get any of those 91 people? You were out of school about 8 years. Did you know any of them?
Yeah, I recognize David Quick.
Okay.
And I recognize Mabel Hull.
When did you leave Tuscola? You were here in 83, graduated.
I left in 1990, came back in 94, left again in 96, came back in 2014 or 2015.
When was the Sparta adventure?
96.
And then when were you at Mount Vernon?
Let's see. Mount Vernon, I went to Mount Vernon in 2000.
So when were you the press association?
I was at the press association between 90 and 94, and again between 2006 and 2014.
Pretty
I
interesting.
go back where I came from multiple times.
Pretty interesting. It's always a good sign if they'll take you back. I'm not sure they'd take you and I back, would they?
I know they wouldn't take me back.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. I went to the press association twice and didn't apply either time.
Yeah. I've read some of your stuff. I've read news literacy. I still think, I really think you ought to publish that. I still think that's a great, people are now challenged more than ever on accurate news and how to figure out fact from fiction. And I thought your book on
that news literacy booklet was sent to every high school in Illinois.
I mean, it needs to be re-emphasized, republished.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. Bill, you still with us?
Nope.
Probably needs to be updated a little bit.
Well,
got it.
Yeah, I don't think yet. Did you have social media covered in that?
Mm-hmm.
Social media phenomenon.
Yeah. Some social media.
I've got it upstairs. I forget how people get their news off their phone now. I read, David, somewhere where only 40% of Americans read a book. I think, and only about 1/1000% read a Theodicy. Maybe less.
And how many read your book?
I think it's even a fraction of that. I think I got Bill.
I think we don't read papers. People don't read papers.
Well, you and I do.
Well, we do, yes, and they prove beneficial. Magazines, I subscribe to the Saturday Review. I get the Post magazine.
You get the New Yorker.
Yeah, we get the New Yorker.
But I do too. But in all honesty, we do it for the jokes.
Well, the jokes are tremendous.
The jokes are tremendous.
But you want to
get a balance.
You want to get a balance, and it makes a difference, I think.
I read I get Saturday Review. I get the Economist, not Saturday Review. What's the conservative National Review?
National.
And I take the Economist, New Yorker magazine, and then papers. I take the Wall Street Journal, the News Gazette, and I do an online New York Times. And I just do it
and the County Chronicle.
And the County Chronicle, but I do it all to see. I'm talking about national news, what's going on.
You want to balance out of it.
You want to find out how people think, and it actually gives you a pretty good perspective.
Yeah,
and it gives you a little bit of cynicism and taking everything with a grain of salt till you investigate it, because there's so many worldviews on how people interpret things.
I have a couple of favorite Saturday morning news shows that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
People in the evenings, I think, get locked in on one station. I think that's a mistake, whether it be a liberal station or a conservative station. I think.
Yeah, I watch.
In fact,
on Fox, I like Bret Baier. I watch BBC. Probably the most objective news station of all is NHK from Japan. And like I told you, Al Jazeera hates everybody in America. So
PBS is good
PBS.
For different things, for sure.
So yeah, we like information. We like to get it.
Sometimes, David, the best thing to do is just turn the thing off.
Yeah.
Blow up your TV.
During the election, I surfed between the different stations.
Yeah, we did on election night. We flipped through 7 or 8 different stations. We wanted to see how the different networks were portraying the election coverage.
So it takes time. You've got to be interested in world affairs. You've got to be interested in what's going on. And Bill and I, even though we're retired and out of it, we're still. Sometimes it's funny, the people who have the time, we're retired. I remember in the law office, Jim Lemner retired from our law office when Emerson Moore and I took it over. And Jim would come in one day a week. We gave him a chair in the library, and he would read what's called the advance sheets, which are new cases that have come down. Now, this is something Emerson and I should read to keep up, but we're so busy.
Right.
Like we're a one-armed paper hanger,
Yeah.
we're just trying to stay afloat. We never did have time to go back and read the advance sheets, but Jim Lemon would go read the advance sheets front to back. He would mark some cases that he thinks are relevant to our practice. So the guy who shouldn't read them was reading them. So you and I, who have no power influence, who don't work, nobody listens to us. You and I are reading all these newspapers and articles trying to stay informed. So we have the time.
We have the time.
We have the time.
Yeah, that's one of the blessings of retirement.
Yeah.
You do have the time.
And we enjoy it. It's great.
Well, not to get too deep in the weeds, there's an advantage for some politicians that people not read.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to get very deep in the weeds to say that, David. That's just, you're in the weeds. Yeah, no, I think it's people have a lot of anxiety, uncertainty, but people want certainty. People want it. They don't like anxiety. They want to know things. And so if they wrap their mind around something politically and say, this is it, I don't want to hear any more, that gives them that certainty helps relieve their anxiety. They don't want to hear bad things about what they think they know.
We talked about your book, and we talked about about faith in regard to religion. And what I see a trend toward politically is faith in politics over fact. It's not necessarily what is provable. It's just what you believe.
Well, I think the more you ground your faith in informed decision making and reasonable evidence, the better faith is. But yeah, you could believe. What did Woody Allen talk about religion? He said, I belong to a very small sect. We meet on the back of buses in New York and worship a glass bankboard. He said it's a very small group.
Very small group.
Yeah. Yeah. Faith, and that's part of my book. I talk about faith as the answer. But faith in my book, Dave, my major theme was I tried to come up with a logical, rational explanation for religion. And in my book, I talk openly about quantum physics. I talk about neuropsychology. I talk about modern philosophy and postmodern philosophy. I look at the world the way it is and come up with what I thought was a logical response that makes Christianity probable. And so my faith is logic, it has some logic behind it. There are people whose faith is just based on mysticism or guess. I tried to come up with a logical frame, a logical foundation, or a rational thing where you could walk in the world today and be relevant, and your faith could be relevant and have a logical frame. So that's part of my book, was just exploring. I didn't so many religious people want to disregard science and what Freud said about the psychology and what evolution says about life. And they say, well, that I don't want to hear about evolution. It conflicts. I don't want to hear about Freud's depth psychology. I don't want to hear about the multiverse out there. I don't want to hear about all this stuff, But I think if you can ground your faith in reality, that's not the ultimate leap of faith, but that gives you a floor to stand on. You're standing on logic, and it makes sense. And then you make your leap of faith. I think it's a much stronger leap of faith.
I've always thought that Christianity and religion are compatible with science. So yeah, I think there are things biblically that are maybe written as a parable but that doesn't mean that it necessarily conflicts with science.
Yeah, Jonah swallowed by the whale. I mean, it literally happened. It doesn't matter. It's telling a story about sin swallowing you up. So, in fact, the Bible is probably more powerful if you see it metaphorically and as an allegory on certain stories. I think you have to unflinchingly look at life the way it is. if you refuse to look at life the way it is, then I'm not sure your faith is on firm footing. You could be knocked off your pins pretty easy.
There are no atheists in foxholes.
No, and you don't want to. No, no. But anyway, thanks for doing the interview on my book. It was, probably easier to hear.
I started it, but then I had
a lot of people start it and then they fall asleep.
Well, I didn't fall asleep. I just had to
and then they get a little,
do something else.
They get a little deep.
I'll get back to it.
They get a little deeper, and then they check in a institution.
Yeah, I think it's
all right.
David, the 91 class, I love that period. I love these kids, but man, oh man, we're getting
challenged.
Yeah,
I can do pretty good on 97 class.
When did you leave? When did you quit being principal?
Well, it's not so much the principalship on the pictures. 90 to 2005, I was principal. So 15 years. But
so 91, you should have known all those kids without doubt.
Yeah, they change. And your lovely wife just said a few minutes ago to me about forgetting names and whatnot.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, whoa. And if they grow up and grow a beard.
Well, I called Glenn Thompson, Tommy Thompson.
Tommy Thompson.
I know it's Glenn.
And Tommy Thompson graduated he was with Sherman Marsh, I think.
Yeah. Bill McCarty's
late 30s.
Bill McCarty's uncle.
Yeah, in the late 1930s.
Well, David, keep it going as long as you can. Bill and I will hang in here for just a little bit longer.
We're going best we can.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola.
And thanks to our sponsors, David, whoever our sponsors are.
Sponsors this week are Trust Bank and Elite Builders.
I thank them.